So you want to know about foreclosure for property taxes owed? Well, you've come to the right place. This is attorney Bob Diamond. I've been in this business for many years. I'm going to share with you today the insider secrets on how to be successful in property tax foreclosure investing, and stay to the end because I'm going to show you a very special way that you can make money on those sales that nobody else talks about and that is not at all obvious. Matter of fact, it took me 20 years of buying at the sales to discover this, and since I've discovered it, I've made a lot more money and been a lot happier in business. So be sure to stay on to the end. So what is foreclosure for property taxes owed? Well, when someone doesn't pay their real estate taxes for 3 to 4 years, then the county government will sell that property to recover those taxes. And the bidding starts at the amount of the taxes owed. So typically someone is going to be 3 to maybe 4 years behind in the taxes, and they'll get plenty of notices, but if they don't catch up on the taxes, then the county will sell that property to the highest bidder. These sales are held regularly, usually at the county courthouse, sometimes online, but often live at the county courthouse. And at those auctions, the high bidder takes the property, and the bidding starts at only the taxes owed. So those can be really great deals, because if you just owe 3 or 4 years worth of taxes, that probably adds up to 8 to 10% of the property value. The reason I say that is on average, taxes are 2% of the property value in a given year. So if you're talking about a house that's, say, average house in America, $400,000 house, it's going to have about $8,000 a year in real estate taxes. And if you get, let's say, 4 years behind, you owe $32,000 in taxes, but the property's worth $400,000. So even if the place is in poor condition, it's still a big spread. And you can find some really amazing deals because the bidding starts at the taxes owed. So if there's only $32,000 owed on a $400,000 house, if you happen to be the lucky one that's there and the only one bidding, then you get that property for $32,000. Now that's not typical. Usually the properties do get bid up to somewhere between 20 and 30% off of their as-is value. So it takes into account condition. But if you're talking about a $400,000 house, you're probably talking about getting it for $300,000 to $320,000. And that's a really amazing deal, right? And they're properties at all kinds of price levels. There is raw land, there are small houses, they're big houses, they're fancy neighborhoods, they're not fancy neighborhoods. And lately, with all the havoc going on in the economy and with commercial landlords having a tough time, we're even seeing commercial properties like office buildings come up on those tax sale lists. So there's kind of something for everybody, but I would tell you it's not a free lunch. You definitely have to learn some things before you go investing at tax sales. And the things I'm talking about, you need to learn, what liens still remain on the property afterwards. Now, mostly all the liens are wiped out, but depending on the state, you may have different rules. Like, for example, in the state of Pennsylvania, there's a sale that they hold every September, which comes subject to liens and mortgages. So if you buy at that sale, you need to know if there are any mortgages recorded against the property. Or, for example, in most states, the IRS liens will come with the property for at least 6 months. Another thing you need to know is that IRS liens will stay on the property for up to 120 days after the sale. Also, you need to know about things called rights of redemption. Now, right of redemption is when the owner has a chance after the auction to catch up on the taxes and keep the property. Now, if that happens as the bidder at the property, you're going to get your money back and you're going to get a nice profit, either in the form of a high interest rate, or sometimes, like for example, in the state of Georgia, you get a 20% bonus on what you bid. So if you bid $100,000 and someone redeems the property, then they have to pay you $120,000. So you actually make some good money. But again, you need to know about it because in the state of Georgia, you aren't even allowed to get set foot on the property until that right of redemption expires. And you certainly can't sell it or refinance it or fix it up. So you do need to know these things. And what you need to do is educate yourself in advance. So if you're going to do that, you can either hire a local attorney, which may or may not be helpful. I don't think that's the best way to do it, but you can. And that's probably going to be part of your team. But you can also learn from one of the educators. The best one I know of in the space is a good friend of mine. And he actually teaches not only to buy at the auction, but a way that you can buy properties after the auction when they're just sitting there on lists waiting for you to pick them up for taxes owed. Really unique way of doing it. I hadn't heard about that until I met him. And I'd been buying tax sales for many years at that point, and he really is sharp. So if you want to learn more about that, there's a link down below to an introduction video I did with Tony, and I interviewed him about how he does tax sales and what he does. That's a good, it's free right here on YouTube video. It takes about 15 or 20 minutes to watch it, and you really learn some interesting things. So I put a link down below. You can check out that video if you want. Again, totally free here on YouTube. And he has some really great ways of buying properties. Now, the second thing, I promised to show you something special. And I do a business that's related to tax sales, but it's not tax sales. It's called overages. And what overages is when money is left over after the tax sale, the former owner can claim that money. And I'll explain how that works in a second, but just bear with me. So when there's money left over, the owners are entitled to that money, because what happens with the money when they collect it, let's say we're talking about a house that's a $400,000 house that sells for $300,000 at the auction, and let's say they owed $50,000 in taxes. So the county collected $300,000 at the sale, right? That's what the high bidder was. Well, the county only needed $50,000 to cover the taxes, so there's $250,000 left over. And you might wonder, well, where does that money go? Like, who gets it? And the answer is the former owner is eligible to claim that money. Now, most of the time they don't, because they have no idea that there's any money they could claim, or if those are even the rules. They think, oh, they sold my house, so they keep the money. But that's not accurate. To understand this, you need to understand how the money flows and who's entitled to the money. So the property is sold because you didn't pay your taxes. And what the government is entitled to is to get its tax money back, plus interest and penalties and costs of sale. So nothing major, but they're entitled to those things. So they get that money back, but anything extra belongs to the former owner, because it really represents equity in their house. It doesn't belong to the government, it belongs to the person, but they only get it if and when they claim that money. So they have to actually fill in paperwork and file a claim. And most owners have absolutely no idea that there's any money they could claim, any money that they're eligible to claim. They just think, they sold my house, so they keep the money. Very logical, right? But just happens to be incorrect. So when I go to a tax sale, what I'm watching for is to see properties that sell for more than the taxes due, which pretty much anything with a house on it or a structure is going to. And then that money is money the former owner is eligible to claim that they won't know about. So what we do in my company is we contact the former owners, let them know there's some money they're eligible to claim, and see if they'd like to work with us to go get that money. We're not telling them where the money is. We're not giving them all our research. We're just saying, hey, we found some money. If you'd like some help claiming it, we're happy to do that for a percentage if and when we're successful. And we routinely get tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars for clients, and we make a really nice living at it. And, you know, statistically speaking, 70% of the time, the people don't get their money back. And the reason for that is they don't know about it, so they never apply for it, and then the government just keeps it, which is really a terrible solution to this whole thing. So really good and interesting business. It's a good business for anybody who wants to have a business where they help people and they make great money. It's terrific, because we're helping people who've really lost everything to get back some money that they never expected to get. It's really wonderful. And we're going to walk for a minute because I have to start getting back. I'm here in Hawaii today, and I got to get back because I'm teaching a seminar and teaching people how to do this business. So we'll go walking together. So anyway, this is a really cool business, and something that I think any entrepreneur who wants a business where you don't have to put a lot of capital up front, you don't have to make big investments, you don't have to buy houses, it can be a really good business. You make good cash money, and our typical claim is a little over $90,000. So we're really helping people in a significant way because they get the majority of it. We get a fee, but they get the majority of it. So I feel really good about helping people get some money and helping them get back on their feet and making good money for myself and my family. It's wonderful. Really great business, good for entrepreneurs. I'm an attorney. You don't need to be an attorney because I know the legal stuff. So I'd love to help you with this business if you're interested. So I think the next step is I have an introduction to the Overages business video I put up here on YouTube. It's completely free. You can go check it out. I spend about 15 or 20 minutes walking you through what the business is and how it works, and just helping you identify this is truly a business that you would be interested in. And I think it's a good business for any entrepreneur that wants a business that doesn't take a lot of money to start, doesn't take a lot of money to operate, and you really and truly help people. That's the kind of person this is good for. And so anyway, go watch that video, and if you want to take the next step from there, there's more videos you can watch and more education you can get, and we do teach this business, so I have a whole business doing that. So this is Attorney Bob Diamond. Hope this is helpful. Go check out the Tony video if you want to learn more about buying the properties, and check out my Intro to Overages video if you want to learn more about this Overages business. Links to both are down below, and I will see you next time.